I'd like to call the Township North Huntington Board of Commissioners regular meeting for Wednesday, May 15th, 2019, 7 p.m. Roll call. Manager Silka.
Commissioner Harold.
Here.
Commissioner Bertani. Commissioner Blasco.
Here.
Commissioner Martino.
Here.
Commissioner Bevan.
Here.
Commissioner Casera.
Here.
Commissioner Haggis.
Here. Could everyone please stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and an opening prayer by Pastor Nick Poole from Calvary Assembly Church.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you please bow your heads? Lord, we thank you so much for the blessings you've poured out upon this township, and Lord, for the wisdom and the leadership that is here. And we pray, Lord, that you would guide and direct their steps, their decisions. God, that we would be good stewards of all that you've placed under our care. Continue to bless this township. Let it be a model and example for many throughout this region. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to the police promotion presentation. Chief Rizzo.
Before I call the promotions out, many of you in the room know 2019 was a big transition year for our department. We had a large retirement last year. At this time, I was appointed as a sergeant to run the department, eventually promoted to the rank of chief of police. And through the entire year, our department was transitioning and building and growing, and through hiring and promotions. Through it all, the Board of Commissioners has been tremendously supportive of our department. The plan that we put forward, we've had many meetings in executive session, go over various items, and they have been nothing but supportive of us through the entire process. So before I do the promotions, I want to thank them for all the support that they gave us, and by doing so, I had these plaques made for you. The culmination of the transition was our new patch. We asked at the beginning of this all, our department, every man and woman in the department wanted to rebrand the department, cars, patches, and this was a big one for the officers in the police department. So we spent a lot of time doing so. We are now just transitioning to it. You'll see some of the officers still have the old patches on. We are literally right in the process of changing over. But I had these made for the commissioners to commemorate 2019 and the new patch and the new beginning of our police department. So I'm going to hand it out to you guys. Thank you very much for your support. All right, with that being said, this is the first time publicly that we get to announce our promotions. With these promotions came a change of doing business that we have never seen in the past 30 years. I approached the Board of Commissioners with a new way that we wanted to structure our leadership. And I pitched a plan to them, and they agreed to it. And with that, for the first time in my time here, which has been 28 years, we're going to have 2 lieutenants, and we promoted 3 additional sergeants to go with Sergeant Bauer, who is currently on the department. So for the first time, I'd like to announce Lieutenant Gregory Arendas, 23 years of service with North Huntington Township. Come on up, Greg. Lieutenant James Purdy, 23 years of service with the North Huntington Township Police Department. Sergeant Justin Wardman, 12 years of service with North Huntington Township. Sergeant Mike Drysdale, 13 years, North Huntington Township. The old man in the group, Sergeant Kaufman, 24 years. These are their certificates of promotion. Justin? Jay? Congratulations to you all, and thank you very much. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll kneel down in front. Oh, wait, I am.
And one more.
Yeah, well, let Tom do it.
Thank you.
Tom wants to do it. Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, one more. There, Tommy. Okay, one more.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
All right, thank you, Chief Rizzo. Moving on to our regular meeting. If any citizens would like to speak tonight, if you could sign a book at the podium, please. Thank you. The first resident tonight is Bill and Barb Viola. If you could just come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Bill Viola, 400 Daily Drive, North Huntington. And my wife lives the same address with me.
Sir, you can speak now. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. I'm here to address a safety problem I have at 400 Daily Drive. Well, there's two stories, a short story and a long story, but I'll just give you guys a short story. I don't want to bore you. What happened was with residents at 400 Oakhurst planted shrubs on the roadside. My driveway comes out and it blocks my vision. This all started about 8 or 10 months ago. I called zoning, and the zoning, Josh was very good. He said he's going to turn it over to the police department. That's how he had it. What happened, but in March ago, I contacted Josh at the beginning of March, and I went over to the department, and he turned it over to Officer Ted Cookage. At this particular time, Ted came down, and he went through a site project, and he said there was a major problem. If you know how Daily Drive is, it comes down Daily Drive, okay, and then it goes up on the west side, but there's a joining street called Oakhurst right there, which is a blind spot. Now, after I talked to Mr. Cookage, he went down and talked to the neighbors and explained to them that it is a problem and it could cause a danger. We cannot see, and we're going to pull out. What happened was, I guess I had some allergy and nothing happened. The second time, and the next morning I woke up and lo and behold, there's an error in my driveway. It's about 6 inches, maybe 8 feet. It's blowing in the wind. So I called Officer Cookage again. I said, did the township put this in up? He said, absolutely not. He came down and really decided that we had a nice bit of bird watching because that's about all I could see out of it. So the next day, I take it and lay it on the side. That morning I wake up, and guess what it is? In Mr. Blasco's driveway. Now how I got there, I'm sure how I put it there. I don't know, but anyway, the next day I ended up on the side where the garbage area is. To make a long story short, this is a very dangerous situation. We cannot see how there's 4 accidents. I know what there is, I read doing some sections. Anyone who lives on Daily Drive will tell you, no one goes 20 miles an hour up that road. In fact, I just that part I put lines in. I cannot see to get out. Oakhurst is a total blind spot. We cannot see whatsoever. If you come off the state road on our side, the state provision says you have to have a 200 distance. Okay, we weeks, we haven't seen anyone since they cut the bushes back. If the bushes go 1 inch, proportionally, I would take me out to say it again. That was checked on a police car. Unfortunately, I don't drive a police car, I drive a 150 truck, which is 2.5 feet longer, that pushes me back even further. I have 3 other cars that I have. The AT cars, one is a Thunderbird, which is almost 4 feet longer, a Vet, it's longer, I don't have no vision whatsoever. When I came down, after I did the site thing, he explained things, he said it's very vague, but what I'm telling you is, this problem is not going to be if it happens, it's going to be when it happens. There's going to be someone with 4 near misses. I tell everybody when you come in my house, you gotta be very careful. But you cannot see when they're coming out unless, and you turn simultaneously daily, there's a definitely hidden spot. And Officer Cookies put that on his memo, that there's a dead spot in that area that you cannot see. If this doesn't, if they can't run this, guarantee there's going to be an accident. The car's traveling up the road very quickly, they're watching time. If you travel 20 miles down the road, you have some accident, but those cars go up there fairly freely. Mr. Blasco can vouch for the speed. The vehicles, once they travel up that road, it's going to be a disaster about to happen.
I just wanted to add, I took videos today sitting in my car in the driveway. If anyone would like to see it, I'd be more than happy to show it to you.
Thank you. Yep.
So I'm sitting in my driveway where I can pull out. There is a car turning here.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the car that was turning. I wouldn't even have seen that. There is no way to see what's coming until it's in front of us.
Thanks.
Thank you for your time.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you. Next resident is Brian. If you want to come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, I'm representing the owner of 1431 Peachtree, and I signed up
Just
simply because...
your name and address for the record, please.
I'm sorry, Brian Opelka,
Okay.
1431 Peachtree Lane. I signed up simply because I got here first before Mr. Tobin. I would like him to speak before me, and I could go
Yeah,
after,
that's fine.
if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay.
If you, Jim, if you just want to state your name and address for the record.
James Tobin, owning lot 1421 Peachtree. I'm gonna let you take it. That's that one copy. This is about Peachtree Lane, where there's a bit of a landslide that's affecting the back of 4 properties and also affecting the property below, which is owned by Mr. Harold. And this development, which was done several years ago, had a required sedimentation pond, which was temporary. And then it was filled in and compacted, supposedly, so that this slide would not happen. And I believe there's a heightened standard of care by the Westmoreland Conservation District, by the state, Pennsylvania State Department of Environmental Protection, and from North Huntington Township. The slide, which is not major but affects 4 properties, there has also compromised the sanitary line at the rear end of these properties and dumped raw sewage on the property below, owned by Mr. Harold. And it simply needs to be addressed and corrected. And I believe that this is a community problem. It's affecting 4 homeowners which have their life savings invested in their homes. And this problem needs to be corrected, and I think North Huntington should take responsibility for stabilizing this hillside so that the sewer line is not compromised again and the property owners are protected. That's all I have to
All
say.
right. Thank you, sir. Brian, if you said you would like to speak after.
Yes, pardon me? Yes, I've looked at the drawings provided by Mr. Tobin, and when the Oakton Manor development was built, Phase 1 was built, and there was a temporary detention pond across 4 properties that directed water that was not directed there before. So these 4 properties accumulated water, accumulated silt, accumulated mud, and then the township allowed the builder to develop over them. Now, my understanding from the Conservation District is the township had to sign off on the compactness and the development of these properties, and the township signed off on that. Well, now we have a landslide on 2 of these properties, which is going to migrate amongst 4 of them, and very well may migrate up the hill. In my opinion, I believe the township was negligent in their signing off or did not monitor this correctly. And that allowed this to happen, because it has not happened on any of the other properties where the detention pond was not built. But it happened on this where the township allowed this water to accumulate over a period of time while Phase 1 was being developed. And I believe, the sewer authority, I believe, has been in contact with the township in an effort to try to work through this to maintain their line, a gravity line, which is preferred. Now, the sewer authority has proposed maybe some grinder pumps, and things of that nature, which are really not preferred if you can avoid them. And I believe this line has been there for so many years, but it conceivably could easily stay there. And I believe the township should, at the very least, work with the sewer authority to maintain a fix that could allow the property owners to maintain a gravity line, because this is not just affecting Ms. Zabinski's property, whom I represent, and Mr. Tobin's property, but there's some instances where it's going down the line, and they could see some settlement movement, and it can conceivably go up the line, and it can go now it's affecting 8-9 properties that have to install grinder pumps, which are going to reduce the property values, which are, I would assume, going to reduce the taxes that you guys get, because the property values are not going to be reduced. And then they're going to cause increased expense to all the property owners with insurance and just maintaining the grinder pumps, et cetera. And I believe this all could have been alleviated if the township would have adequately signed off and adequately monitored the development of these properties where they let this detention pond be built. That's all.
All right. Thank you,
I
sir.
understand there's no question and answer.
All right. I believe that's the end. You want to speak tonight, sir? Yeah. Go ahead. State your name and address for the record. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
But this is also affecting it's Mr. Hill's son's property, actually, below us, where he's now getting a lot of erosion and settlement that is just matriculating down the properties and affecting his son's property. So this is becoming a very public problem, if you ask me.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
All right, sir. If you just want to come up to the podium, say your name and address for the record.
Thank you. My name is John Steiner. I live at 1318 Samantha Way, North Huntington. And quite honestly, I'm just here to thank North Huntington Township, from the maintenance crew to the planning to whoever solved the water problem coming out of basically a French drain that was coming off from 4 or 5 different houses that was constantly making ponding, but also severe ice on Samantha Way. And I just wanted to thank North Huntington Township, their maintenance crew, and everyone else involved for coming up with an innovative, effective solution that basically solved basically a very hazardous situation for cars and emergency vehicles and anyone else using Samantha Way, let alone eventually the road would be destroyed from the ice damming. So I just wanted to come up here and thank you for that, and my greatest appreciation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I believe that is now the end of public input, response to citizens' input.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just want to add on to the Viola's request. So the residents who they're referring to purchased the house, I'm going to say about 2 years ago, correct? And they planted 6 or 7 trees probably about 12 months ago. And it is only going to further escalate their issue. I'm sorry that I missed you today, Mr. Viola, when you stopped by the house. Saw you on my security cameras, but I was out back. I'm sorry. But it's definitely a concern that they're going to have getting out of the driveway. And at some point, they will get T-boned. It's only a matter of time until that happens. I did speak with Chief Rizzo recently, and we're looking into doing a little bit of a...
We're already on it.
Okay, you guys have started your speed assessments?
We had discussed it at the staff meeting
Yep.
this week.
Okay.
We're actively working it.
Okay. But so the shrubs that have been planted are only about a year old, and it's only going to make the situation worse as the summer continues to feed and grow. So it's going to be a safety issue for them.
All right, thank you. And then the issue on Peachtree Lane.
You know, what I can do is, as I addressed the board last month, this is not in a township right of way. There is a sanitary right of way, and as you know, we do not do sanitary sewer lines. That is strictly NHTMA. We don't get involved with that. They are a separate independent authority. So, I mean, unfortunately, it is not a desirable condition, but it's not a condition that the township can take responsibility. We'd, in essence, be going back and working on private property, which is actually a surchargeable offense to those of us involved. So I think we empathize towards landowners, but it's not something that we can get involved in. It is a private property issue and an HTMA issue.
Any other board input on that topic?
Yeah, Jeff, could we set up a meeting with the homeowners and sewage authority in North Huntington just to see what everybody has to say and try to work it out and see if we can come up with a resolution?
Well, probably it's not our resolution to come up with. I mean, HTMA has their resolution to move the grinder pumps. We can't get involved in telling them how to
Right,
do
yeah,
that.
I understand
With
that.
the homeowners, we've met with the homeowners. We provided them right to know requests. We circulated a memo from the township engineer that we did to the board also, stating that this is what we can do. This isn't our issue. So to meet again, I think we would just be treading water because our position can't change, and there's nothing that we can do to intercede.
Yeah, typically, like I said, it's not a give and take, but if you want to ask one more question, go ahead.
I mean, you prefaced this on the municipal authority and the sewer line. To me, that's a separate issue. Whether the municipal authority moves their sewer line is one thing, but stabilization of the hillside is a different thing. And if they want to move their sewer line and give everybody grinder pumps, so be it. But there's still the issue with the stabilization of the hillside.
I mean, not to interject with Mr. Silka, like I said, this is not a give and take, but if the hillside's on private property, I've always been against being a commissioner, and I'm not saying it hasn't been done in the past, for the township to go on private property and improve people's property. But as long as I'm on the board, I'll continue to fight the township spending township taxpayers' dollars on private property.
Okay, that's fair enough, but we bought the hillside. We didn't know that you guys approved this on a detention pond. And, I mean, there's a heightened standard of care there. When you have allowed this water to accumulate over a period of time, I think, there's a heightened standard of care where you have to make sure that now this property is secure to be developed.
Well,
I don't think the township have done that.
Well, sir, that's an allegation you're making. Do you have any engineering data to show that in 1996 this was approved that wasn't done? You're basing off an assumption.
Okay. I'll get that data then.
Thank you. I believe that wraps up citizens' input unless anyone has anything else to add. Okay, moving on, approval of meetings minutes for special meeting 4/11/19.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. For the regular meeting 4/17/19.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Payment of bills.
I make a motion, we pay voucher number 78425 through voucher number 78520.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Staff reports, Public Works report, Mr. Albert. Anything to add to your report?
Nothing more to add, thank you.
Thanks. Park and Recreations, Mr. Miller. Anything to add to your report, Mr. Miller?
I have nothing this evening, thank you.
All right, thank you. Police report, Chief Rizzo.
I have nothing to add.
Thanks, Chief.
From.
Emergency Management report, Gene Commodore. I don't believe he's here tonight. Plan engineering topics, Mr. Blanco. Fire officials report. Any questions on the fire officials report?
No, sir.
All right, subdivision land development, Mr. Blanco.
There are 3 action items from the Planning Commission. The first one regards subdivision 5 of 2019, the all-city subdivision plan.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
The second item is with regard to subdivision 6 of 2019, the Farina Pecora plan.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
And the last item is with regard to site plan 4 of 2019, the Sheet Store 313 addition site plan at Route 30 and Carpenter Lane. And this would grant 3 modifications that have been requested by the applicant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Roll call, Manager Silka.
Commissioner Harold,
Yes.
Commissioner Blasco,
Yes.
Commissioner Martino,
Yes.
Commissioner Bevan,
No.
Commissioner Casera,
No.
Commissioner Haggis.
Yes. Motion passes 4-2. Solicitor's report, Mr. Alexander.
There are no action items on the solicitor's report for this month.
All right, thank you. Township Manager's report, Mr. Silka.
Okay, the first item is action to approve the April check register.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
The April 2019 budget report is provided for your review. The next action item is action to authorize the township manager to publish the necessary ordinance banning tobacco and electronic smoking devices in the parks and apply for Young Lungs at Play program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
The next is action to award the Frog Road Stabilization Project, contract number 2019-05 to Quigley Development, 195 Winfield Drive, Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, 15666, in the amount of $48,950.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
The next is action to approve the proposal by the Cohen Law Group for wireless facilities management services at a cost not to exceed $7,500.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
The next is action to approve the proposal by the Cohen Law Group for cable franchise renewal services at a flat rate of $15,750.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
The next is action to hire Sean Bowen, Logan Huss, and Colton Dietz for seasonal summer staff for the Parks and Recreation Department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
And I do have one additional item that was put on after the agenda was posted. I'm going to look to add to the agenda and actually to approve the appeal of the May 7th, 2019 decision, the Zoning Hearing Board of North Huntington Township in the appeal of Tower Co. 2013 LLC and Pittsburgh SMSA Limited Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless.
Make a motion to add the action item appealing the zoning hearing board's decision to tonight's meeting.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0, and it's now currently on the agenda.
Now I'm looking for action to approve the appeal of the May 7th, 2019 decision of the Zoning Hearing Board of North Huntington Township in the appeal of Tower Co. 2013 LLC and Pittsburgh SMSA Limited Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by saying.
Citizen input.
Yep. Yeah, if any residents would like to speak, I'm sorry, on this topic, they can come to the podium and state their name and address for the record. I'm not seeing any. We had a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Is that it, Manager Silka?
Yes,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Any further board comments?
Just want to add on that, remind all of our voters that it's election day coming up on Tuesday next week, and also want to wish a happy birthday to Mama Blasco.
Any other further board comments? All right, no announcements.
I'm sorry, I do have one announcement. Just want to let you know that Haywood Road is now open, the slide is repaired, and probably the best, it came in at bid price. There was no change orders on this project.
Okay.
All right. No more announcements, just need a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Meeting adjourned at 7.